Part 31. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 301. Team Teleport. Searched can on Google. This is a very powerful skill, and in many cases, it can play an unimaginable role. In an instant, 300 people including Tank, Huowu and others were forcibly pulled over. Yuchen led the team, assisted by the captains, and went straight to the giant tower in the center of Thunder City. This tower is called Thunder God Tower. Legend has it that it was built by a fanatical believer of Thunder God, and it is also a copy of Thunder City. When Yuchen and others came to the tower, they found a small team here. Among them are the main group led by demons, Brother Yuxiu, Black Dragon, Ao Wushuan, Forbidden Fruit, Broken Halberd, Ba Tian, Yu Meng, Yu Sheng. There is no doubt that Yao's team is a bit too strong. However, Yao's military rank is not high enough, and now he is no more than a captain, commanding a team of 100 people. Such a lineup and military strength are quite intimidating to ordinary players, but they are nothing compared to Yuchen's 300-strong army. Yuchen, we meet again. The demon dressed in a black robe, covering all the parts below his head, making him look quite mysterious. However, his handsome and sinister face and spotless silver hair make him look very arrogant and domineering. At this moment, he looked at Yuchen with a faint smile, his eyes moved, and he glanced at the 300 troops behind Yuchen, his face darkened. The demon is now a profession with Chinese characteristics, Taoist priest. This profession is very powerful. He wasted a lot of time doing job transfer tasks. Otherwise, he would also be a major now. Now, the demon army, the throne, and the main forces of both sides are gathered in front of the dungeon. With their strength, it is almost a sure thing to win the dungeon. But there is also a first kill here. Compared to Yuchen's 300-strong army, the demon was definitely at a disadvantage, which made him quite unhappy. Well, I didn't expect that the person who killed the innocent person would be you, Yuchen replied. The demon smiled when he heard the words and said, innocence is just a small role. In the light camp, in the end, it is just you and me fighting for the world. But there is no room for two tigers in a mountain. I, the demon, either don't do it, or I have to be the best and the strongest to do it. I am the only one who dominates. As he spoke, the demon's whole body surged with a powerful and domineering aura that made one's heart palpitate. The people around him lowered their heads involuntarily, their auras condensing. This feeling is like the sun suddenly rising in the dark starry sky, releasing its dazzling light. Cause the darkness to be driven away and the stars to be dimmed. However, there is another sun on the opposite side of the sun, releasing the same temperature and light. Unfortunately, that's what I thought too. Yuchen laughed, waved his hand, and led the team to push away the demon army and headed towards the copy. Humph, let's show off. Let's see who among us has the last laugh. Amid the demon's sneer, Yuchen led the team into the dungeon. System, you discovered Thunder God Tower, recognition at 30. The Thunder God Tower is very large, but it only has 3 floors. At this time, Yuchen led the army to the first floor and found a large number of hoses lying on the ground. Most of these hoses are damaged, and the metal wires inside are leaking out, and high-voltage arcs are constantly flashing on these metal wires, which is extremely dazzling. Almost all of Throne's 300 troops stepped on these damaged hoses, and some even stepped directly on the metal wires. As a result, electric sparks continued to appear in the crowd, and those who were hit not only lost blood, but also entered a state of paralysis. This is the environment of this copy. It is a very harsh environment, just like the infinite sea of fire in hell. You can't change it, you can only find a way to endure it. Anti-anesthetic potion, light attribute resistance potion. At this stage, any player with a certain level will be equipped with various potions in the store. Ye Chen gave the order and everyone in the team took the potion to minimize the losses. Hey hey hey. As a series of sinister laughter rang out, a group of fanatical believers of Thor, either carrying electric drills or electric irons, surrounded the crowd. These guys' clothes were messy, their heads looked like chicken coops, and their eyes looked morbidly crazy. Fanatic believer, common. Level 40. HP/. Skill, power enhancement. Shield warrior, charge. The tank roared, transformed into a dark wolf, and rushed forward with a group of shield warriors, forming a human-shaped wall to keep the believers out. Defensive stance, block. Dang Kang. The tank roared again, and the shield warrior raised his giant shield in a defensive posture to further strengthen his defense. The believers yelled wildly, raised electric drills, electric irons, and bombarded them with all kinds of bombardments, but they could not break through the defense. Fire technique, Fire Dragon Break. Immediately afterwards, Huowu gave a soft drink, and 3 fire magic teams released the Fire Dragon Break. For a moment, the Fire Dragon roared, carrying terrifying high temperatures, and smashed ferociously into the crowd of believers. The fire curtain dispersed, and a large number of believers were killed, leaving only a few large elites and leaders. Melee combat, charge. Shen Kimian raised his heavy sword and led a team of berserkers, magic swordsmen, knights, thieves and other melee fighters to charge towards the enemy. Bang! There is a row of shield warriors in front, and those with an even number will automatically withdraw their shields and retreat, forming a formation behind the odd-numbered warriors. As a result, the original even-numbered positions were vacant, and the warriors from behind poured out and attacked the monsters in front crazily. With the support of back row mages and archers, a wave of concentrated fire instantly cleared the first wave of monsters. Clean the loot, restore HP and MP, cool down CD, and repair in 1 minute. Then, the team moved forward again, crushing all the way, and soon came to the Old One. The Old One is also a believer, to be precise, he is a preacher. Thunder God Preacher, Lord. Level 42. HP/. Skills. Lan, assist. Ye Chen shouted softly, buff fully activated, and strode towards the Thunder God Preacher. At the same time, Lan ordered the elf dragon baby to add buffs to Ye Chen, making Ye Chen shrouded in colorful light, like a god. At this time, Ye Chen's various attributes have broken through to a certain limit. When he took a step, a strong wind sounded behind him, and the speed was amazing. Stun. Blade Storm and Cancel. Throat Slash and Final Blow. Kill. Puff. Dash. A huge and explosive damage came from the top of the Thunder God Preacher's head, and he died before he could react. Kill the Lord Boss instantly. This damage is incredible. Boss is so powerful. The 300 people in the group were all surprised and gave thumbs up. They had no choice but to accept such a president. Go directly to the second floor. Ye Chen smiled, waved his hand, and led the group to the second floor. There were all kinds of monsters in front of them, thunder bats, thunder birds, thunder cats. Of course, the general environment was still charged hoses. It was still shield warriors resisting and long-range bombardment. Because Ye Chen was the preacher of the god of fire, the fire mage occupied 1/3 of the entire team. One big move focused fire and almost killed a large wave of monsters in 1 second. The remaining few elite monsters, the warriors charged, and the back row mages and archers made up for the long-range attacks, which was also very easy to harvest. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 302. The big team kept this pace and quickly advanced to the second one. It was an unusually majestic purple tiger, with electric current flashing all over its body and fierce eyes. Thunder Tiger, Lord. Level 43. HP, Slash. Skills. Obviously, this big guy is much more powerful than Thunder God Preacher. Yechen also knew that the Thunder Tiger had static electricity characteristics, and even if it was attacked, there was a great chance that it would paralyze the opponent. Suddenly, the Thunder Tiger attacked, and while running, it crackled all over, and then a thick lightning bolt hit the big group. At this time, if the tank still had the Black Tortoise shield, it would naturally be able to block it, but his Black Tortoise shield had already exploded. Boom! The explosion sounded, and the back row ranged professions were attacked, causing a large number of deaths. At this time, Yechen wandered around the Thunder Tiger, killing small monsters to accumulate combo points, looking for a one-shot kill. In 2 seconds, he accumulated enough combo points, and Ian's elf dragon also gave him a buff. Shadow attack. Yechen teleported directly to the back of Thunder Tiger, and then stabbed with the red flame dagger, backstab and finishing blow. Piercing the heart. Dash. The red light flashed, and it shot directly through the body of Thunder Tiger, and finally shot out from its throat. Thunder Tiger wailed and fell to the ground unwillingly. Another instant kill. Yechen's terrifying damage was trembling. Tisk tisk, playing the same game, why is the gap so big? The elites of the big group were all shocked. In theory, their strength is not bad, it's just that Yechen is too strong. Super high basic, super high firepower, Xiao Hei's additional damage, the power of blood tree feedback, plus the blessing of the elf dragon, it is so abnormal. After the death of Thunder Tiger, 2 purple suits were exploded, but they were sets that could not be traded, Thunder God said. This is a level 40 purple suit. The attributes of a single piece are average, but the suit effect is powerful, increase light attribute enhancement, light attribute resistance, and paralysis resistance. Wearing the Thor suit, it will be much easier to brush the Thor tower. But Yechen led the team this time, the goal is to be the first kill, there is no such condition, and of course it is not necessary. After the spoils were collected, everyone rested for a minute, and when the CD cooled down, Yechen led the team to kill the 3rd floor, which is the boss floor. The boss floor is still the same environment, the damaged part of the hose generates electricity, and there is only one monster in the entire tower floor, the boss. It is a huge guy, his whole body is made of blue electricity, his face is not angry but majestic, and he is a Thunder Tiger under his crotch. Thor's Will, Golden Lord. Level 45. HP, / Skills. Cowardly and vain people, dare to trespass into the forbidden land of my God. Thor's Will roared, thunder rolled, and a black cloud rose above the sky, and above the black cloud, electric current flickered. Crack. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning descended from the black cloud, hitting the ground and cracking the ground directly. This skill is called Thunder Punishment, which is released above the head of the Thunder God's will and moves with the boss. Every second, it will automatically release a lightning attack downwards. If someone attacks the Thunder God's will, the Thunder Punishment will also reflect an additional lightning bolt, with explosive damage and a powerful paralysis effect. Moreover, the reflected lightning is not single, the number of times the boss is attacked will reflect as many lightning bolts as it is. There is no doubt that this skill is so perverted that it is almost a bug. Fortunately, the duration is only 10 seconds, so just endure these 10 seconds. Thunder Gun. The Thunder Gods will suddenly roared, and a bolt of lightning condensed into a sharp thunder gun on the outstretched left palm. Immediately, the Thunder Gods will projected the thunder gun out, and the sound of breaking through the air sounded, and the speed was amazing, instantly shooting through the body of a shield warrior, and rushing all the way. Puff puff puff. In the blink of an eye, everyone in a line was pierced through the body by the thunder gun and died directly. Roar. After sweeping a person, the will of the Thunder God was still not satisfied. It rode the Thunder Tiger and rushed over. The whole body produced surging electric currents. If it touched anyone, it would cause a lot of damage and paralysis. Don't attack. Wait for the black cloud to disappear. Seeing that someone wanted to fight back, Yechen hurriedly shouted, but a few people still took the lead. They didn't do much damage, but triggered the thunder punishment. The next moment, several lightnings fell and directly killed those unlucky ghosts. The remaining people were startled, and they quickly stopped and fled. The will of the thunder god chased frantically, and the weapons in its hands changed at will. Sometimes it turned into a thunder and lightning double knife, slashing randomly. Sometimes it turned into a thunder bow, shooting wildly. Sometimes it turned into a staff, releasing lightning. After 10 seconds, the thunder punishment disappeared, and the will of the thunder god slaughtered frantically. At this time, there were less than 50 people left in the big team. Pastor, pay attention to dispel. Flying thunder god. Yechen roared, raised his hand and shot a dart. When he was close to the will of thunder god, Yechen teleported over and stepped on the dart, then attacked frantically. However, the static electricity of the will of thunder god was very strong, and he was paralyzed almost every time he hit. The first time was okay, the human talent firm will solved it in seconds, but the second time, the third time, although the priests reacted quickly, they couldn't solve it in seconds. This made Yechen's attack look like a robot, stiff, slashing, stopping, and then slashing again. Fortunately, during the 5 seconds of dominance, Yechen completed 2 sets of skills, which reduced Thor's will by nearly 500,000, almost half of his HP. And the remaining nearly 50 people only dealt tens of thousands of damage to Thor's will in these 5 seconds. The gap is obvious. After 5 seconds, Yechen lost his dominance, and before he could escape, Thor's will slashed him with 2 swords, minus 6,320. The HP bar above Yechen's head was empty in an instant, and he fell to the ground and died. Resurrection. The next moment, Yechen stood up again, but his HP was only 10%, running. Yechen didn't dare to force it, and jumped away. It took about 3 seconds for Yechen to re-enable the buff. Because he lost the blessing of the elf dragon, Yechen was extravagant and opened his fighting spirit again to rush up to fight. Power attack and blade storm and cancel. Throat slitting and final blow. Kill. Dash. Yechen cut the throat of the thunder god's will with a knife, but blood spurted out like a fountain. At the same time, a terrible injury appeared on its head, and it fell to the ground and died directly. Haha, the one-hit kill effect was triggered. Yechen smiled slightly, and suddenly the broadcast sounded. Thunder City broadcast, congratulations to players Yechen, Tank, Huowu, for completing the first kill of the copy Thunder God Tower, and receiving 25 million experience points, 8 gold coins, and 2 skill points. The leader Yechen will be rewarded with an additional skill point. The system broadcast sounded 3 times in a row in Thunder City. It was also the Thunder God Tower copy, and the demon army had just reached the 2nd floor. This is the difference between 300 people and 100 people. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 303. Sure enough, they robbed us, Yao said coldly with a gloomy look. Boss, you don't need to get angry. We just lost in numbers, He Long flattered. As long as you are promoted to major, they will definitely not be able to rob us. Nonsense, of course I know this. Yao snorted coldly and said, it's just a pity for the skill points. In the early stage, I was weak and could not play the hell level dungeon, which led to my serious lack of skill points. Ao Wushuan said, I received news that there is a national boss on the island where Ji Haixia belongs. If you kill it first, you can get a skill point. Yao, well, after this, I will focus on Ji Xia. On the other side, Ye Chen killed the boss and distributed the spoils with the team. The first kill has a high drop rate. The Thunder God set alone directly exploded 8 pieces. But Ye Chen looked down on it and gave it to others. The best equipment that Thunder Gods will exploded was a gold equipment. Thor's Ring, gold quality. Level 40. Magic defense add 565. Intelligence add 80. Spirit add 100. Light attribute enhancement add 50. Light attribute resistance add 100. Anti-paralysis chance add 30%. Additional skills, static electricity, passive, when attacked, there is a 20% chance of paralyzing the opponent. There is no doubt that among the gold equipment, the Thunder God Ring is also a top quality one. When attacked, there is a 20% chance of paralyzing the opponent. How powerful is this? Ye Chen did not need this ring much, so he gave it to Tank. Tank is a shield warrior who is attacked the most frequently, and this ring is quite suitable for him. After taking the first kill in the dungeon, in addition to the benefits of equipment, everyone also gained a lot of experience, and almost everyone was upgraded to a level. Ye Chen was upgraded to level 41, and the average level of the group reached level 39. Everyone asked, "Boss, are you still going?" Ye Chen pondered for a second and replied, "Keep going. I'll take you to level 40 first. You know, there is a big gap between level 39 and level 40. First of all, there is a gap in equipment level, and then there is a gap in skills. The level 40 skills of most professions are group attack skills. As for the first kill of the national boss on the Ji Xia side, Ye Chen is not worried, because there will be a big whirlpool after the number 3 island. This big whirlpool is released by a giant octopus. Ordinary fishing boats can't go through it unless they kill the giant octopus. In that case, the big whirlpool will disappear. But at this stage, players can't beat the national boss in the sea without ships. And there is only one national boss in most islands, which means that there are only 3 national bosses in the number 1, 2, and 3 islands. What's wrong with giving up the first kill? After making up his mind, Ye Chen continued to lead the group to brush the dungeon. About 3 hours later, a picture suddenly appeared in Ye Chen's sea of consciousness. This was the effect of the detection device. And in the picture, it was Yao and others, a total of 100 people. Damn it, let's go and get them. Ye Chen laughed sinisterly, and under the puzzled eyes of everyone, he directly exited the dungeon. Then he used the teleporter, and the next moment, he was teleported to the side of the detection device, and then Team Teleport. Suddenly, an unimaginably huge teleportation array appeared, and then a large group of 300 troops were teleported over. Everyone asked in confusion, "Boss, what's going on? Follow me, get a wave of Yao army. Don't worry, they are only 100 people, we will crush them directly." Ye Chen smiled slightly, waved his hand, and rushed towards the coordinates of the Yao army. It was not until the 2 armies faced each other that Yao and others were shocked and terrified. What's going on? Aren't they brushing the dungeon? Why are they here? Yao roared, but what answered him was the majestic roar of the enemy army. Ye Chen summoned Xiao Hong to rush to the front. Xiao Hong burned to ashes and killed dozens of people. Yao and others panicked. Flying Thunder God. Ye Chen had already activated the buff, rushed over, and slaughtered bloodily. In just a few seconds, the number of Yao troops dropped again. Ah! Yao screamed wildly, his flowing silver hair fluttering in disorder, his black robe moved without wind, and opened the purple lightning array to control Ye Chen and the group of people who rushed over. "I can't beat him. If you can run, run." Yao's decisive voice came out again, and Ikyu, Heilong, Ao Wushuan and others no longer insisted, stepped back, and then ran away madly. Arrow rain. Lan shouted coldly, and archers over level 40 shot arrows together. Suddenly, countless arrows shot over and shot the monster into a plug. With the death of the monster, the purple lightning array disappeared, and Yechen and others were freed from it. Chase them. We finally came here. Don't let any of them stay. Yechen waved his hand and led the team to chase. On the way, Lan summoned the elf dragon baby again to buff Yechen. So, Yechen danced like lightning and harvested quickly. 10 minutes later, all the monsters were killed. Haha, cool. So cool. Tank laughed so hard that he couldn't close his mouth and said, "How did you know they were here?" Monkey said, "Yes, and how did you teleport here?" Yechen smiled and explained to everyone about the detection device, the teleporter, and the daily reward the colonel received. On the other side, the resurrection point of Guang City. Yechen is really brave. The demon roared, "I still can't figure out how he knew our whereabouts." As he spoke, he stared at everyone. All the people present were carefully selected by him, and the possibility of them being spies was extremely low. This made him wonder, since there were no spies, how did Yechen know their whereabouts? "Boss, Lao Ao, I always heard you say that Yechen is not only powerful, but also insidious. Today, I see that his reputation is indeed well-deserved," Akio said, with a look of emotion on his face. Ao Washuan glanced at him and said, "Yechen has been targeted by mythology and Hall of Fame many times, but he can still rise. His methods are naturally not to be underestimated." As he spoke, he looked at the demon again and said, "But boss, this time, I think I know what methods Yechen used, Major. Major officers can receive a detection device and a transmission device every day." When Ao Washuan talked about the effects of the detection device and the transmission device, everyone was silent. Obviously, this time Yechen used this method. Yao pondered for a moment, then looked at Ao Washuan with interest and asked, "Old Ao, you are not a major, how do you know?" Ao Washuan smiled modestly, "I have my own channels." Looking at Ao Washuan, Yao frowned slightly, then calmed down and said, "It seems that the major does have a huge advantage. In the next few days, I will go to the dark camp to get merits. You continue to upgrade and recruit a large number of people. In 2 days, we will go to war with the throne and destroy them all at once. Everyone, yes. The strongest assassin in the server." Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 304. On the other side, after Yechen defeated the demon army, he left the members of the group who had reached level 40 on island number 1. "Tank, Sister Huao, you can farm the Soul Reaper here, and you have a chance to use the Soul Reaper skill." Yechen explained to everyone that on the one hand it was for the soul harvesting skills, and on the other hand, it was also for the remaining level 39 members to upgrade faster. After all, even if the dungeon has a lot of experience, it won't be that much if it is divided equally among 300 people. At this moment, all members who have reached level 40 have left the group, nearly 200 of them. Of course, even though Lan was level 40, Yechen was left in her own group. After all, her baby elf dragon had a strong growth rate. With this increase, Yechen would be able to clear the dungeon faster. After making arrangements, Yechen waved his hand and took the lead back to Thunder City. Since everyone in the group was only level 39, they could not use the teleportation stone in Thunder City, so Yechen used team teleportation again to pull them over, and then brought them to the dungeon. 10 days early the next day, everyone in the group reached level 40. "You are free to move around," Yechen's team said, and Gu took the old duck with him and headed east of the fishing village. When I arrived at Dong La's house, I found that the door was closed. There was a little doll eating a lollipop sitting on the steps in front of the door. After seeing the two of them, he said in a sweet voice, "You are looking for brother Dong Lai. He is here now. I'm busy and it's not convenient to see guests." From this, Yechen deduced that Dong Lai was still creating. "Old duck, Please stay here and let me know as soon as there is any news, Ye Chen said. Okay, Lao Yan nodded and temporarily withdrew from the team. Ye Chen teleported to Longyang City and called the names, Tank, Lan, and Big Fried Chicken. Then, the three people teleported over. Why are you coming to Longyang City now? The three tanks asked in confusion. Ye Chen smiled and said, brush the holy beast. Hearing this, the three of them were startled and shouted, Holy beast? Where is it? Ye Chen said, it's within the main city. The three of them were shocked when they heard this. There is a Suanwu Holy Spirit in Baiyun City and a colorful phoenix in Kinyu City. No wonder there is no holy beast in Longyang City. It turns out to be hidden in the main city. The holy beast of Longyang City is at least level 30, right? Only a few of us can defeat it? How about sending an army over? Tank hesitated. He knew very well how terrifying the holy beast was. He remembered that when he was playing Suanwu, hundreds of millions of players besieged him and they fought all day and night. Colorful Phoenix, the first kill is still there. Normally speaking, the holy beast of Longyang City should be more powerful than the colorful Phoenix. With such an existence, Ye Chen let just a few of them do it. Can you brush it? No, this holy beast is quite special, and I discovered it accidentally. Compared with ordinary holy beasts, it is very weak. Ye Chen smiled, looked at the big fried chicken, and asked, how are you doing? Are all the pets here? You know, the big fried chicken is an animal tamer. This kind of hidden profession, even among summoning professions, is a bug-like existence. Because they can summon multiple pets to join the battle. Those pets can be ordinary monsters or sacred beasts, depending on the player's strength. Of course, at this stage, most players would not even dare to think about sacred beast pets. Even in the later stages, players who actually have sacred beast pets are at the top of the pyramid, and they are rare existences. Well, it's all ready. Now I can summon 5 pets to fight at the same time. Big Fried Chicken said excitedly, causing Lan to look at him strangely. For Lan, having an auxiliary divine pet like an elf dragon baby was extremely abnormal. What if Big Fried Chicken had a few more pets? However, the baby elf dragon has the blood of the holy beast, which is also a rare existence and is difficult for ordinary people to obtain. Big Fried Chicken added, I own a lord pet myself. I bought 4 lord pet eggs some time ago. They have just been hatched and they are already elites in their infancy. The reason for the rise of the throne can be said to be indispensable to Big Fried Chicken. Although he did not ask for anything, Ye Chen still let the finance, that is, the little cat, give him his due share. Nowadays, Big Fried Chicken can be considered as a rich man. You know, lord pet eggs are incredibly expensive. Moreover, it has a price but no market. Players who want to buy it may have to pay the value of the far lord pet egg itself. After all, things are rare and valuable. Big Fried Chicken spent hundreds of thousands of yuan to buy 4 lord pet eggs. It can be said that he spent a lot of money. But such efforts will definitely pay off. When the pets grow to maturity, they will have 5 lords. Even if Big Fried Chicken himself is a loser, he can still be crushed by summoning 5 lord pets. This is the power of the tamer profession. At this time, Big Fried Chicken summoned all his pets. Mature stage, Violent Bear King. In its infancy, the Rampaging Snail. Infancy, Fire Giant. Infancy, Medusa. Infancy, the King of Banyan Trees. Except for the tall and mighty Tyrannosaurus King, the other pets are still babies. Standing in front of the Big Fried Chicken, they are no longer as long as their legs. He also looks cute and cute. Of the next 4 pets, Big Fried Chicken was also carefully selected. According to Ye Chen, more fire boss were chosen, while the Banyan Tree King was a control type, and its solution could increase the intensity of the flames. It's a perfect match. Do you mind if I help you induce labor? Yechen took out a few bottles and asked with a smile. These milk bottles are the product of Crazy Cow. Yechen usually uses them to feed Xiaohong and learned that this thing also has the effect of inducing birth. Recently, Xiaohong's body has obviously grown a little bigger, and the color is brighter than before. At this time, Xiaohong still stayed on Yechen's shoulder. Seeing that Yechen seemed to have the idea of using milk bottles to feed other pets, it immediately cried in dissatisfaction. It was as if a child had his favorite toy taken away. Of course I don't mind, Big Fried Chicken laughed. You know, pets have the potential for evolution in their infancy and growth period. Inducing birth makes the pet baby grow faster, which also realizes this potential. Of course, blood evolution is very difficult, such as eating holy beast meat, drinking holy beast blood. In short, it is holy material. Even if the player really has this kind of thing, it is estimated that he would not be willing to cultivate the Lord Pet. So the Lord Pet is very embarrassing, and inducing birth is also inducing birth. After getting the consent of Big Fried Chicken, Yechen bent down decisively, first comforted Xiaohong, and then fed the runaway snail, the flame giant, Medusa, and the banyan tree king one by one with a bottle. The next moment, a violent white light appeared on the four pets, and their bodies quickly grew larger in the white light. When the white light dissipated, the four pets turned into mature pets and became Lord Pets. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 305. As expected. Yechen looked at the pet in front of him that had grown into a lord, his eyes slightly focused. The result was exactly as he imagined. The bloodline of divine beasts is fundamentally different from the bloodline of lords, like a chasm. Feeding Xiaohong with a Crazy Cow's bottle for a long time may have a birth-inducing effect, but the effect is so weak that it can be almost ignored. But feeding the Lord baby with a bottle will directly push the baby to the limit. It's amazing, my brother, he actually brought the baby to maturity. Big Fried Chicken was overjoyed. At this moment, he had 5 Lord Pets. Really sharp. Tank smiled at the Big Fried Chicken and said, I remember that in the demon army, the demon dragon was also a summoner, like a necromancer. He summoned a bunch of garbage, but you summoned 5 lords. A fight like this would be like a father beating his son. Lan was amused by Tank, and his branches were trembling with joy. Yechen took the 3 of them to a cemetery. The name of this cemetery is Tomb of Heroes. As the name suggests, various heroes from the Light Camp are buried in this cemetery. And those who can be called heroes are naturally those with outstanding military exploits. Yechen led the 3 of them through the tombstones. The order of these tombstones is based on the military ranks of these heroes during their lifetime. The ones at the forefront are all golden tombstones. It is the tombstone of the marshal and general. Yechen ignored them, looked around, and found that among the many ordinary tombstones in front of him, there was a tombstone inlaid with gold. Master of all souls, Tomb of Dujula. This is a very resounding name. Dujula was only 10 years old when she died in battle. 10 years old, with the rank of colonel. That's what the so-called genius is. Dujula is a beast trainer with an innate affinity. Any monster will involuntarily want to get close to her. With this ability, she subdued various holy beasts. During the battle, she instigated enemy monsters many times and made outstanding achievements. She has various titles and auras, the youngest colonel in history, a genius animal trainer, and a magician of all spirits. Among them, Wanling Mage is the loudest, because she has so many battle pets under her command that they form an army. There are more than 10 holy level pets alone. Among the entire Tomb of Heroes, Dujula's tombstone is the most special. Her tombstone is not only inlaid with gold rim, but also surrounded by more than 10 small tombstones, which are very ornately decorated. Combined as a whole, it looks like a small flower bed. Those dozen small tombstones are the tombstones of her sacred beasts. Touch her tombstone. Yachen handed over the leader to Big Fried Chicken and said. Big Fried Chicken was stunned for a moment, then put his hand on Dujula's tombstone, and heard a system prompt in his ear. System, it has been detected that you are a beast tamer and have 5 or more lord pets. Dujula's heritage space is open to you. Do you want to enter? Big Fried Chicken was stunned and glanced at Yachen blankly. Yachen then smiled. He had known this for a long time, so he asked Big Fried Chicken to get all 5 lord pets. Because this space will only be open if the animal trainer and 5 or more lord pets are satisfied at the same time. Is this a copy? Is that holy beast in it? Big Fried Chicken asked. Tank and Lan also looked at Yachen. You'll know if you go in and take a look, Yachen said. The Big Fried Chicken nodded. He was now the leader and led the small team directly into Dujula's inheritance space. System, you discovered Dujula's inheritance space, and the recognition rate is at 60. As the system prompt sounded, Yachen and others came to a special space. It was surrounded by colorful lights, balloons of various colors were launched into the sky, and there was a rainbow in the sky. It appears to be a replica, with only 2 rooms and a very small scope. Yachen and others looked up and could see the door to the second room at the back. In front of the gate, lying an old white dog. Loyal dog, Jim, holy beast. Level 35. HP/. Skill. Status, old. Jim is also one of Dujula's battle pets. According to the background information of the game, in the battle where Dujula died, Jim was injured and did not participate, and ultimately escaped. After that, it loyally guarded the tombstones of its owner Dujula and all its companions, never leaving. After so many years, Jim has become very old. It is now a level 35 holy beast, but its total HP is only 100 million. You must know that the 18th level Suanwua beast soul has 180 million HP. Young animal trainer, congratulations on coming here. Seeing someone coming in, Jim stood up. Although he was old, he had an indescribable majesty of a beast king. It looked at the Big Fried Chicken and actually spoke, I am the necromancer, Dujula's pet. Maybe you have heard of her name. Yeah, I know, she's a great trainer. Big Fried Chicken replied cautiously, but then he looked anxious and panicked, and asked on the team channel, who is Dujula? Yachen. Tank. Lan. I can't finish the information about Dujula in 1 or 2 sentences, and it's too late to say it now. Big Fried Chicken knew that he had entered a certain plot and was very flustered. Fortunately, Jim did not continue to dwell on the topic of Dujula and said directly, yes, my master died prematurely. She was a true genius. I am afraid that the person who can inherit her ability will never appear again. But her relics and will must be passed on. Jim said, young tamer, if you and your companions can defeat me, you can take my master's relics. After saying the last sentence, Jim's body became bigger, roared, and triggered a strong vibration. The battle has begun. Big Fried Chicken summoned 5 pets without hesitation, the Violent Bear King, the Rampage Snail, and the Fire Giant as the forward. Medusa, the Banyan Tree King, the back row support. Yachen and Tank also rushed up, and the battle started in an instant. Weapon weakened. Tank played a skill. Although Jim had no weapon, his attack power was also greatly weakened. Yachen and a group of pets bombarded immediately. In a few seconds, hundreds of thousands of HP were taken down. Roar. Jim roared, swinging his claws to attack Yachen, who had the most hatred. However, Yachen's dominance made it impossible for him to repel him, and he could only hit a small amount of HP. It is already quite old, and its attack power is not as high as everyone imagines. Just hit it hard. Yachen roared, and under the amplification of the elf dragon, the damage was off the charts. After a few combos, it was hundreds of thousands. After being hit hard continuously, the blood bar above Jim's head began to slowly decrease. You know, it is a holy beast. Generally, the blood bar of a holy beast will only flow slightly after being hit for a long time. All these phenomena show that Jim is really old and his combat power is only 1/10 of it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 306. Yuchen will run away for a period of time after each strong attack for 5 seconds, away from Jim's hatred. The tanks and the three-headed lords were actually able to withstand Jim's attack. Compared to the three beasts, the tank is better at drawing aggro, keeping Jim's aggro in his hands for a long time. Later, the baby elf dragon will also heal and add blood to the tank. So the tank is not weak at all. Tank's Thunder God Ring is also quite powerful. When Jim attacks, he is paralyzed from time to time. Therefore, Yuchen no longer fought hard, but hid behind the tank and stabilized his output. During this period, he knocked down a bottle of CD potion and stole it with Xiaohe. Nowadays, Yuchen has been blessed with the title of Master Thief. His thief level is as high as LV15, which is quite powerful. Even when it comes to stealing level 35 holy beasts, the shots are flawless and the goods are received almost every time. More than an hour later, under the joint attack of everyone, Jim was finally overwhelmed and fell to the ground dead. Explodes an item. There are no holy weapons, not even a piece of golden equipment. Yuchen and Xiaohe's theft did not result in much gain. The most precious among them is the blood essence and blood of the holy beast, 2 copies in total. Fried chicken, your pets are all mature and have no room to grow. Yuchen picked up the 2 portions of blood essence, explained it to Big Fried Chicken, and divided 1 portion with Lan. Yuchen called Xiaohong over and hugged her, and said with a smile, "Little glutton, Daddy will feed you something delicious." Saying that, Yuchen was about to feed him. Who knew that Xiaohong wouldn't even shake it, but when he saw that Yuchen was about to feed the essence and blood into his mouth, he actually started to struggle violently. "Hey, you are too picky about food. Do you want to continue your vegetarianism to the end? You don't even want such good things." On the opposite side, Lan fed the holy blood to the elf dragon, who drank it with ecstasy, looking satisfied. Yuchen watched helplessly and reluctantly let go of Xiaohong. At this time, the elf dragon was greedy and started to take advantage of the holy blood in Yuchen's hand. Seeing this, Lan stretched out his hand to beg and said, "Since your pet doesn't like it, then give it to me. Don't let the rich water go to other people's fields." Yuchen shook his head, "I have another pet." Yuchen was naturally talking about the blood tree. Although the blood tree is not a pet, it can also grow. I believe it is very interested in this holy blood. However, Lan didn't know the existence of the blood tree, so he looked at Yuchen angrily and waved it off. After all, even though the holy blood is precious and can strengthen the pet's bloodline, it cannot be effective by taking just 1 or 2 drops. This is a long-term process. Everyone glanced at the loot, looked at each other, and strode towards the second room. Arriving at the second room, there was not a single monster inside, only a stone table with 4 items quietly placed on it. The Big Fried Chicken rushed forward in a hurry, and when he saw it, he saw a belt and 3 special animal traps. Soul Control Belt, Holy Artifact. Level 35. Equipment Type, Cloth Armor. Physical Defense add 355. Intelligence add 350. Spirit add 380. Strength add 30. Physical Strength add 30. Agility add 10. Special Effect, Number of Pets Summoned add 1. Note, this special effect is only for the animal trainer profession. Dujula's Special Animal Trap, holy item / consumable item has extremely strong catching ability. Ordinary / elite, 100% success rate. Leader, 80% success ate. Lord / special monster, 50% success rate. Golden Lord, 10% success rate. Holy Beast, 1% success rate. Divine Beast, uncountable. Warcraft, national monsters and world monsters, the capture success rate is reduced accordingly. Wow, haha, what a good thing. I need to follow the rhythm of the day. The big fried chicken laughed maniacally and expanded. This Yuling is a sacred weapon. Not only is it super powerful in basics, but more importantly, it has special effects. The number of pet summons add 1. You know, summoning professions use human C tactics, and beast tamers are slightly different. Because the number of tamer summons is limited. Tamer, play with a strong lineup. The beast tamer has a skill, spirit control. The number of pets summoned is based on the level of the spirit control skill. This skill is difficult to upgrade, and the upper limit is only LV10. In other words, the average animal trainer can only summon 10 pets at most. Of course, there are also special ones, such as the spirit taming belt. It increases the number of pet summons. The power of the spirit control belt can be imagined. In addition, Tujula's special animal trap is also quite powerful. The bear traps sold in the store are all junk. The probability of catching the Lord is probably less than 1 in 100,000. The difference can only be seen through comparison. The probability of catching the Lord with a special bear trap is as high as 50%. A holy item is a holy item, extraordinary. The best animal trap, but it's so precious that I'm at a loss. Big Fried Chicken's face was full of excitement, and he smiled bitterly and said, "Everyone, what suggestions do you have? I personally recommend that you catch the crazy cow, but the success rate of the Golden Lord is only 10%. You measure it yourself," Ye Chen said. The beast tamer is a powerful profession. With 5 lords, it can be considered a rise if you get the sacred weapon spirit taming belt. But it is only the initial rise. If you want to become a real strong man, you must experience fighting with various strong men. At that time, it was common for pets to die in battle. Although you could use resurrection grass to resurrect instantly, pet death in battle would reduce your favorability. When the favorability level decreases, the pet will not only be disobedient, but may even run away. This chapter is not over yet. Please click the next page to continue reading. Since Big Fried Chicken has many pets, he needs a milk bottle even more. At this time, catching a crazy cow is a very good choice. Tank said. In addition, there are also national lords, but this trap does not show the exact data of capturing national lords. Hey, it makes my heart beat fast. There are only 3 traps. If I can't catch any of them, I will be entangled to death, Big Fried Chicken said depressedly, falling into self-entanglement. This copy can be refreshed once a month, and you can get some holy blood. Although it is unlikely to have a holy weapon, there may be a trap, Ye Chen reminded. He knew that there was only one inheritance of the Yuling belt. After that, if you refresh it again, you will have only one Tujula special trap. 1 is a little less, but you can't miss it. 1 month. Well, I remember it, Big Fried Chicken nodded, took the small team out of the copy, and then handed the leader to Ye Chen. Let's go to the fishing village in Liguang City. As early as when he was brushing the dungeon, Lao Ya sent a message Dong Lei had completed the ship. Ye Chen nodded to everyone, and they teleported to Liguang City together, and then rushed to the fishing village. Major, thank you for your help, I finally made a ship. Dong Lei said excitedly, to express my gratitude, I will give you this ship for free, and all the things in my shop are open to you at a 50% discount. Hearing this, Lao Ya looked at Ye Chen in shock. You know, he had already learned the price of the ship before. 1 sold for 10 gold coins. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 307. Any ship is sold for 10 gold coins. If it is 50% off, it will only cost 5 gold coins, and the difference is huge. You know, after a while, the national map will become a popular map, and players will have a high demand for ships. Yechen will make huge profits just by reselling. However, although Lao Ya was surprised, Yechen was indifferent. Such profits are not much for him. Even if he wants to resell ships, he will resell the advanced ships further developed by the goblins. Thank you. Yechen thanked Dong Lai, took the ship Dong Lai gave him for free, and bought 10 more ships by the way. Ships, special items. Level 1. Passenger capacity, 100. HP, / Attack method, fishing net, harpoon, spear gun. Okay, Major, I will focus on building an intermediate base next. Well, please. Dong Lai said a few simple words, Yechen nodded, and led people away. After that, Yechen used the mercenary system to contact Goblin De Mu by email, telling him that he had obtained a ship and mailed one to him. 5 minutes later, De Mu replied with 2 steel cannons as a thank you gift, and further stated that after the goblins developed a ship, they would also give Yechen one. After everything was done, Yechen reassembled the team at the port. 2 hours later, the large group reassembled, with a total of 301 people. Yechen released 4 ships on the sea and divided them into 4 teams. Yechen led the reinforced 30-man main group as one team, and the other 3 group leaders led 3 teams. Let's go! Yechen shouted, and the 4 ships drove forward in parallel, at such a fast speed that they stirred up huge tail waves. Starting from the port, it takes more than 20 minutes for high-level fishing boats to reach the deep sea area, but it only takes a few minutes for ships. After the fleet sailed in the deep sea for a while, Island number 1 was already in sight, but Yechen's goal this time was obviously not Island number 1, 2, or 3. The national bosses in Island number 1, 2, or 3 were killed by Lan Yan and others yesterday, and the announcement was made. The national lords, like ordinary lords, refresh once a day. The national bosses of Island number 1, 2, or May 3rd have refreshed now, but now it is more important to grab the first kill than to refresh them. No need to turn to Island number 1, just follow me. Yechen drove the ship and led the fleet to advance rapidly on the sea. Soon, someone screamed. A huge shadow appeared on the sea behind the fleet. Sometimes, a terrifying shark fin would break through the shadow and release that unique hideousness. Great white shark. National boss, everyone exclaimed. Among them, many long-range professions launched skills and bombarded the shadow. Then the screams of the great white shark were heard. Suddenly, the great white shark broke out of the sea and slammed into a ship. The great white shark was so powerful that it crashed into a ship that was many times larger than itself, and still knocked its track off track and blasted it dozens of yards. The huge force plowed out a sky-high wave on the sea. On the ship, the army staggered to the east and west. After finally standing firm, they were drenched by the falling waves. The captain quickly checked the status of the ship and found that the ship had lost more than 3,000 HP. The ship has a total of 100,000 HP, and now it has reduced by 3,000, which is still within the controllable range. The captain couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Turn around and besiege the great white shark, Yechen roared, looking happy to see the prey. Yesterday, he was driving a fishing boat, alone and weak, and was embarrassed by the great white shark. Today, he is driving a ship and has 300 troops. The great white shark coming here is simply a trap. Following Yechen's order, the 4 ships split into 4 different directions, forming a huge wave. After turning around, they surrounded and attacked again. Yechen pressed a button, and a huge fishing net suddenly shot out from the front of the ship, temporarily trapping the great white shark. The next moment, the fleet fired harpoons and spear guns at the same time. The long-range professions on each ship also concentrated their firepower on the artillery. Roar! A shrill scream sounded, and the great white shark was severely injured, and its blood bar dropped by 1/3, and blood flowed out, quickly dyeing the surrounding sea water into scarlet. But the next moment, the huge fishing net was torn open, and the great white shark escaped and quickly dived back into the sea. Not long after, a roar came from the bottom of the sea, and then everyone saw that countless black spots were moving quickly in the sea around them. "Look, what is that?" someone exclaimed. "Sharks, so many small sharks." Everyone was terrified and sweating. Fortunately, this scene is in the game. If it happened in reality, it would be enough to scare people. The small sharks are very fast and soon surrounded the fleet. These small sharks are just ordinary monsters. But ordinary monsters in the national map are also more powerful than elite monsters in the wild area. So many small sharks are also very difficult to deal with. These small sharks are attracted by the roar of the great white shark, not summoned. Yechen roared. In other words, even if the great white shark is killed, these small sharks will still exist. There is no way, kill them. As soon as the words fell, the battle cry of the group sounded, countless mages released magic, archers shot arrows, and all kinds of melee fighters jumped into the sea and fought head-on. The reason why Yechen spent 2 hours gathering this time was because he made everyone in the group learn to swim and dive. Flying. Blood blade. Battle cry. At the same time, Yechen spread his snake wings and flew into the sky, opening one buff after another. At this time, Lan also summoned the elf dragon baby to release blessings to Yechen. So, Yechen stood in the sky, covered with various colorful lights, staring at the sea with a cold expression. Until a huge shadow appeared on the sea, Yechen's eyes also condensed, and he immediately broke the dagger and opened the martial arts breaking technique. Flying Thunder God. The moment Yechen threw the dart, the great white shark broke out of the water, opened its smelly and huge mouth, and bit several people to death. The next moment, Yechen stepped on the dart with one foot and got close to the great white shark. Stun. Powerful attack. Piercing the heart. Dash. Yechen's speed was amazing, accompanied by several bloody lights, and he used several skills in a row. The great white shark screamed, swung its tail and sank to the bottom of the sea again. The great white shark has been severely injured, and this time it is a real escape, and it will not come out for a short time. In fact, the great white shark is so cunning, it will run away if it can't win. Lan Yan and others got the ship before Yechen, and also fought against the great white shark, but it escaped at the last moment. However, this time, it met Yechen, and Yechen would never let it go. Hand of Hell. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 308. Hands of Hell. Deep under the sea, a huge black hole was created for no reason. Immediately, an equally huge, dark, and ferocious demonic arm protruded from the black hole. As long as any object can be moved, Hell's hand is effective. Catching people is catching great white sharks is also catching. The next moment, the great white shark had no time to react. It was pinched by the huge hand of Hell, and then burst out towards the sea. The violent force caused the great white shark to retreat uncontrollably, carrying a huge torrent. The great white shark broke through the water and was thrown high into the air. Blade Storm. Yechen turned into a battle top in mid-air, spinning violently to generate strong adsorption force, firmly catching the great white shark. The blade storm rotates for 3 seconds, cutting the air to generate sharp sword energy, strangling the great white shark desperately. At the same time, each group concentrated their long-range fire and bombarded the great white shark. Wipe the throat and finishing blow. Killer. Dash. With a dazzling red light, Yechen cut the great white shark's body with a knife, and blood poured down like a waterfall. The great white shark howled miserably and hit the sea heavily. With an explosion of chi, the great white shark exploded countless items and floated on the sea. No, it should be in a pool of blood. Then the great white shark also floated up, belly up. National Radio, congratulations to player Yeshen for completing the first kill of the National Lord Jaws and receiving additional rewards, including 18 million experience points, 10 gold coins, and 1 skill point. The national broadcast made the announcement 3 times, shocking the whole country. Especially players from the light camp felt that it was very embarrassing. After all, there have been 3 national broadcasts before, but they were all players from the dark camp. Now that Yechen has killed the great white shark, he can be regarded as making a splash on behalf of the light camp. Island number 4, Lanyan Fleet. It seems that the night god was the one who destroyed my detection device yesterday, Lanyan said, her eyes flashing. Taishan, that guy is pretty good. We didn't even kill the great white shark, but he did. Susu, Lanyan is the most handsome. Lanyan, yes. The great white shark will run away. Even if it is controlled by me, it will run away if it finds any opening. Maybe, someone in his team has some kind of pulling skills. Taishan, it seems that's right. Susu, Lanyan is so handsome, I want to give you a baby. Taishan, handsome, handsome. You're so handsome, can you please stop being such an info? His pretty face doesn't matter. Don't you like brother Taishan's muscles? Susu, get out. Taishan, CIAO. Dark Camp, Demon Army. Yakami actually killed the great white shark. It's the same great white shark that destroyed many of our fishing boats yesterday, Brother Yuxio said in shock, with an expression of disbelief on his face. Ordinary fishing boats will definitely not work. I think he must have got a ship. Yao snorted coldly and said, Black Dragon, send someone to look at Donglei. I guess Yeshen's ship comes from Donglei. Seeing the angry look on the demon's face, Ao Wushuan couldn't help but persuade him, President, you don't need to worry, there are countless islands in Zhaihasia, and they are also divided into stages. Among them, there are 51 islands in the 4th level area. Even if we are late, in a few days, our demon army will also have a place on that battlefield. Forbidden Fruit said, that's right, President, let's do more meritorious deeds now, and push you and Lao Ao to the rank of Major first. In this way, we will have greater confidence when we start a war with the throne. Demon, well, that's all. After killing the great white shark, Yechen and the others had no time to clean up the loot because there were countless small sharks in the sea area. Although the little sharks only have elite level combat power, there are too many of them. Moreover, after the player enters the water, not only the movement speed will decrease, but the attack speed and strength will also be reduced. Seeing the army's consumption increasing, Yechen couldn't help but take out the steel cannon and directly release the magic crystal bomb. Boom! A huge shockwave was generated within a 60-yard radius, and all the small sharks inside were killed, and no one survived. This wave directly killed 2/3 of the small shark group. The remaining small sharks were not enough for Yechen to use cannons to deal with them. After all, the small sharks also had 10,000 to 20,000 HP. Ordinary bombs could not kill them, and using magic crystal bombs would be a big loss. After the battle lasted for 10 minutes, the small shark group was finally annihilated. There were floating items everywhere on the sea. Yechen took the low-level diamond and let everyone distribute the other items freely. After this battle, all 4 ships are damaged, and the ships also have durability. The durability is consumed according to HP. You can also find a shipwright to repair the durability. If the durability is 0, the ship will be destroyed. This is actually the same as the steel cannon. The steel cannon can also be repaired, but at this stage, apart from the goblins, Yechen can't find anyone else who can repair it. After cleaning the battlefield, the fleet continued to move forward. Now that there were no great white sharks, the fleet was not a threat at all. The journey was smooth and they soon passed through island number 3 and came to a whirlpool. This huge whirlpool is caused by a huge octopus, which is also the lord of the deep sea. Its strength is even stronger than that of a great white shark, and it is also the cunning type that can run away if it cannot be beaten. Yachen was not prepared to fight it because it was difficult to defeat and the cost was too high, making it completely meaningless. Anyway, the ship can pass through this whirlpool. Forward, Island No. 4. Yachen said something, and the fleet moved forward straight. The speed of the ship was affected by the whirlpool, but it was still able to move forward. If it were a fishing boat, it would be stirred by the whirlpool and smashed to pieces. Oh my goodness, this whirlpool is so big, so how big is that octopus? Someone exclaimed. As soon as the voice fell, a large number of red tentacles stretched out from the whirlpool and slapped the ship vigorously. Who was talking just now? Crowmouth. The super large octopus is really powerful, and the attack of the tentacles can make the ship shake. Everyone on the boat was bumped and fell, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Yachen handed the steering wheel to Tank, replaced it with the 1000 machine fan, and darts attacked the tentacles. Tank took the helm and shouted excitedly, "Captains, it's time to show our racing skills on Akina Mountain." 3 captains, brother, steady. Everyone. Next, the fleet began to drift by inertia. The 4 captains' driving skills are indeed superb, and they can dodge the attacks of the octopus tentacles again and again. Just as the fleet was about to leave the whirlpool, the sea surface suddenly rippled, and then a huge red monster emerged from the sea, a giant octopus. Swish, swish, swish. It shot out multiple tough tentacles, tightly entangling the fleet ships from behind, making them stop moving forward. Attack the tentacles. Break its tentacles directly. Yachen roared, summoning Xiaohong in an instant, and then Xiaohong and countless long-range professions bombarded the tentacles. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 309. Ouch. All the long-range guns opened fire and broke the octopus's tentacles in an instant. The broken half fell into the sea, causing a huge wave. Immediately, the giant octopus roared in pain, causing pain in everyone's eardrums. Immediately, everyone was shocked to see that the broken part of the octopus's tentacles actually grew new tentacles at a speed visible to the naked eye. And these tentacles were just a drop in the bucket for the giant octopus. At this moment, it was already enraged, raising countless tough and huge tentacles, swinging and hitting the fleet wildly, bang bang bang. The crackling explosion sounded throughout the place. It stirred up countless waves, making the originally calm sea surface become turbulent. Take advantage of now, run. Yachen roared, and the 4th captain hurriedly took the helm and moved forward at a high speed. The hatred of the giant octopus still existed, chasing madly, and the huge body plowed through the sea surface, causing a surge of waves. Its speed in the sea is much slower than that of the great white shark. The great white shark can easily overtake the ship, but it can't. In the attack of countless tentacles, it was slowly pulled away by the fleet. At this time, Big Fried Chicken stood at the end of a ship, holding a Dujula's special trap in his hand, looking at the huge octopus in front of him, with a panting and uneasy expression on his face. Finally, he seemed to have made up his mind, gritted his teeth, and threw the trap out. With a slight bang, the trap hit the huge head of the super large octopus and directly turned into stars and dissipated. System, you failed to use the trap. Damn. Big Fried Chicken had deep regret and pain on his face, and couldn't help cursing. Greedy snake swallows elephant, he knew that the probability of catching the national boss was not high, but the failure at this moment still made him unhappy. The fleet was still moving at a high speed, and the super large octopus was pulled farther and farther away. Big Fried Chicken looked at it, like a failed but unwilling gambler. A white light flashed in his hand, and the other two Dujula's special traps appeared in his hand. God bless you. Let's go. Big Fried Chicken put his hands together, like a devout believer prayed, and threw the trap out with all his strength. Someone nearby saw it and laughed. Fried Chicken, don't be so serious. He is the national boss, do you think you can catch him with just 2 traps? Don't joke. That's right, Fried Chicken, the trap is a pit. I was young and ignorant before, and I bought 100,000 in anger. I tried to catch a lord for several days and nights, but in the end, I still didn't catch him. It's humming dog. So, if you want to catch him, don't look hurt by failure. Because failure is normal, success is hell. Everyone didn't know that the trap in Big Fried Chicken's hand was not an ordinary trap, but a holy trap. Big Fried Chicken only had 3 traps in his hand, and any failure would be heartbreaking. You guys know nothing. Big Fried Chicken snorted, and was too lazy to explain. He stared at the flying trap, but still failed. Big Fried Chicken's face darkened. Seeing this, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Tisk tisk, did we not know that it fell to the ground, or did you not know? It's just a trap, it failed, and I'll give you 10,000 later. 10,000. Big Fried Chicken's face sank. If he put this trap out to sell, it would be sold for 10,000 each and countless local tyrants would rush to buy it. If there are 10,000, that would be 100 million. And there is no market for it, and you can't buy it even if you have money. However, these things cannot be explained in just 1 or 2 sentences, and Big Fried Chicken was too lazy to say more. With a fierce look on his face, he threw the last trap at the super large octopus. Seeing his extremely nervous expression, everyone smiled slightly and cast their eyes over. The trap hit the giant octopus's head again, and then the trap and the giant octopus disappeared at the same time, turning into a violent red stream of light and crashing into the body of Big Fried Chicken. Huh! The smiles on everyone's faces froze and turned into unconcealed horror. Damn, a random trap can catch a national lord? Ha ha, ha ha ha, wow ha ha ha. Big Fried Chicken laughed wildly, like a gambler who was so vicious that he even lost his underwear and made an extreme comeback. That feeling made Big Fried Chicken's pores excited. Brother Fried Chicken, you are so awesome, you can catch a national lord with a random trap. Evil creature. Take my punch. The people around him were either envious or jealous and surrounded him. Surrounded by the crowd, Big Fried Chicken seemed to swell up, and his nose was about to rise to the sky. Listen to me, you idiots. Big Fried Chicken sat on the deck with his arms and legs folded, and told the story of Dujula's special trap in an exaggerated way. That's how it works, everyone suddenly realized, but they still couldn't hide their envy. The pet of the national lord, I'm afraid it's even more awesome than the fire phoenix of the night god boss. Octopus King, national lord. Level 40. HP, / Skills, Crazy Beating, Limb Regeneration, Entanglement, Galloping, Mud Bomb. Growth Stage, Mature. Favorability, 58. King Octopus has more than level 40, but Big Fried Chicken is only level 40, so its level is forcibly controlled at level 40. In addition to its level, its HP is also greatly reduced after it becomes a pet. This is the nature of pets. As the lord of the country, King Octopus is equal to or even superior to ordinary golden lords in terms of attributes. In terms of actual combat effectiveness, it depends on the monster itself. The Octopus King is a very strong monster. Perhaps the single target damage in the later stage is not outstanding enough, but Qing Xiaobing can easily do it. but now in the early stage, it is even more fierce. With dozens of tentacles waving at the same time, even an army of thousands of people can be wiped out in an instant. Big Fried Chicken is very aware of the current situation. He knows that the demon army and the throne are about to have a decisive battle. Now that he has the Octopus King, he is even more powerful. Brother Fried Chicken, since you have a sacred animal trap, why don't you catch a more domineering and handsome great white shark? Someone asked. Great white sharks are indeed very sharp in the sea, but they have no combat power on land. Big Fried Chicken said with a smile, although there are naval battles in the game, land battles are the mainstream, so I made this choice. Brother Fried Chicken is inscrutable. Fried Chicken Brother is farsighted. Fried Chicken Brother has a unique vision. Among the crowd boasting and flattering, Big Fried Chicken enjoyed it happily. Then it converged quickly. Roar! Suddenly, the violent Bear King appeared, raised his arms, grabbed the Big Fried Chicken, and threw it towards the number 1 ship where Yuchen was. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 310. The violent Bear King swung the Big Fried Chicken like a ball player and threw it out. The next moment, the Big Fried Chicken landed on the deck of the number 1 ship. Big Fried Chicken, congratulations, a group of main members said. Obviously, they also saw the whole process of Big Fried Chicken capturing the Octopus King. Big Fried Chicken waved his hand and walked straight to Yechen, explaining the current favorability of the Octopus King, and asked for the milk bottle with a playful smile. 58 points of favorability, it belongs to the stage of rebellion at any time. Yechen also knew the seriousness of the matter and handed over the last 3 milk bottles in his hand. Anyway, Xiaohong's current favorability is as high as 92 points. It will not work if she continues to eat the milk bottle. It doesn't matter if she gives it to Big Fried Chicken, and Big Fried Chicken needs it more than herself now. Old duck, don't worry about Crazy Cow in the future, leave it to Fried Chicken, Yechen said to Old Duck and Big Fried Chicken. Thank you, Big Fried Chicken thanked. Yechen nodded. Now he was less and less dependent on Xiaohong. Xiaohong's participation rate in battles decreased, and the mortality rate also decreased. I believe that there will be no need for milk bottles in the near future. But he didn't need it, but Big Fried Chicken did. Tamers rely on pets the most, and sending multiple pets to fight at the same time, so the demand for milk bottles is extremely high. And Crazy Cow is a male, no matter how many times he kills it, it is impossible to explode pet eggs. Big Fried Chicken used up all 3 holy traps, and could not catch Crazy Cow to be self-sufficient, so he could only raise it. But Crazy Cow is a gold lord, which refreshes once a week. This kind of efficient supply can't keep up with Big Fried Chicken's consumption. It seems that I have to find a way to get something like a milk bottle, Yechen thought to himself. The fleet continued to move forward, and the number 4 island in front was already in sight. Suddenly, the radio sounded. National broadcast, congratulations to player Taishan for completing the first kill of the National Lord Centipede, and received additional rewards, 23 million experience points, 15 gold coins, and 1 skill point. The national broadcast was broadcast 3 times in a row, shocking the whole country, but Taishan himself is an all-star. He is famous and does not need to be broadcast to build momentum. According to the data pack, the Centipede is the national boss of Island No. 4. Taishan is the king of the Dark Camp. Boss, do you want to fight? Nonsense, of course we will fight. Boss has a cannon, no matter if he is a king or something, we will blow him up. The fleet was excited when they heard the broadcast, because Yechen had a steel cannon, and with the magic crystal bomb, he was invincible at this stage. How could they not fight with the king of the enemy camp? Turn around and intercept them halfway to Island No. 5. Haha, good. At Yechen's order, the fleet turned around and headed straight for Island No. 5. The speed of the ship was very fast, and the silhouette of island number 5 was vaguely visible less than 10 minutes ago. Then, the fleet turned around again and headed for island number 4. 3 minutes later, the Night God fleet and the Blueface fleet met in the sea. The two sides were only 500 yards apart, and the distance was rapidly shortening. Lanyan fleet, 2 kings, 1 divine priest. 2 of the kings, Lanyan and Taishan, were both majors, commanding 300 people. At this moment, the Lanyan fleet had a total of 602 people, and 8 ships were sailing in parallel. Wow, they are so powerful, but no matter how powerful they are, they can't withstand the magic crystal cannon. He, President, blow them to death. Ye Chen stood on the bow deck with a stern look, and the wild sea breeze blew over, blowing his black leather coat. Amid the crowd and urging, Ye Chen took out the steel cannon and placed it on the deck, and installed a fire attribute magic crystal bomb. Fire attribute magic crystal, now 10 gold coins each. Ye Chen's magic crystal bomb production drawing has not yet reached the full level, and it takes almost 2 fire attribute magic crystals to make a fire attribute magic crystal bomb. In other words, it is 2000 yuan per shot. It's outrageously expensive. But, it is absolutely worth it. The range of the attribute magic crystal cannon reaches 100 yards. If Ye Chen fires towards the middle, one shot can hit the entire blue fleet. And the power of the attribute magic crystal bomb is 100,000 group attacks, with additional attribute damage. The fire attribute magic crystal bomb is fire attribute damage. Of course, this fire attribute damage cannot be added to Ye Chen's own firepower. Even so, it is definitely more than 100,000 group attacks, and there is also a burn effect. And the ship has only 100,000 HP, and one shot bombs it clean. 2000 yuan, knocking down the entire blue fleet. How could Ye Chen let it go? You know, there are still a lot of islands in the rear sea area, and a lot of national bosses are killed first. Not to mention the precious skill points, just the low-level diamonds that will explode in the first kill are priceless treasures. In other words, if you kill any national boss first, you can make a lot of money back. What's more, killing the Lanyan fleet can also gain a lot of equipment and merits. On the other side, the Lanyan fleet. Hey, Lanyan, there is a fleet of 4 ships in front. It's called the Lanyan fleet, but it's actually a combination of the Lanyan fleet and the Taishan fleet. The Lanyan fleet is on the left, and the Taishan fleet is on the right. The number 1 ships on both sides are lined up, and the remaining number 2, 3, and 4 ships are like wings, spreading left and right. At this moment, Taishan stood on the deck of his ship and shouted to Lanyan next to him. Ye Chen captured the great white shark not long ago. Calculating the time, it is almost here now. I believe the fleet in front is Ye Chen's fleet. Lanyan's face was like ice that had not melted for thousands of years. No matter when, it seemed that there was no fluctuation. He said coldly as always, "It's just that I didn't expect that he would dare to challenge us." Taishan chuckled, "Looking for death?" "Not necessarily. Ye Chen can reach this level now, and his means are naturally extraordinary. I don't believe he is as reckless as you." Lanyan said coldly, "In short, you are responsible for whatever he does later." "Well, I understand. And, I am not reckless, but strong." "Okay," Taishan nodded, and did not forget to argue for himself. Bang. Suddenly, a bang sounded. Lanyan and Taishan looked in the direction of the sound, and found that a red bomb was like a falling meteor, shooting at a high speed with a scorching airflow. Taishan's eyes were stern, and he squatted suddenly. Suddenly, the deck under his feet had cracks like a beast stepping on it. Immediately, Taishan leaped high into the sky, and the surface of the black giant shield in his hand produced a mirror-like luster, rebound. With a bang, the fire-attributed magic crystal bomb hit the mirror layer, and turned back, bombarding the Night God fleet with the same speed and power. Damn! What's going on? "Brother, the magic crystal bomb, what should we do?" The people in the fleet exclaimed. They knew the power of the magic crystal bomb, and for a moment they were so scared that their faces turned pale and their bodies trembled.